Hi, I'm Rich from Trapping Inc. TV.
And I'm Sandi. And welcome to the Scuttlebutt podcast. It tripped me up there a little bit. We haven't really done one of these for quite a while, so...
It seems like we did it yesterday, but when you look at the calendar, it's been a while since you and I did it together, and it's just... I got visual aids for later.
And the time has slipped by. Here we are, the end of February, and, it seems like yesterday it was Christmas, so...
Oh, my goodness, yeah. It has been busy. It was a very, very warm winter.
Well, January was warm.
Yeah.
Let's not say it was a warm winter.
Okay, no, February was like 90 days long by itself, and 89 of them were 40 below.
Wow. Or windy. Or windy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's just winter in the north, so you have to be prepared at whatever Mother Nature wants to throw at you. But January was a really mild month, and so much so that we had a lot of melting going on. We had to readjust snares because of melting, and we had all kinds of things happening out there.
Yeah, my coyote baits went just absolutely dead because it was so warm. What do they need? They're out there mousing, They don't need to come to my baits whatsoever.
No, we saw a lot of that, didn't we?
Yeah, it makes it tough. But let's get some housekeeping out of the way. The first thing is that we have a new website coming. So trappinginc.com has always been our website.
Yes.
And it will continue to be our website. So www.trappinginc.com. And the worst thing is it was designed in the time of when every company had a website. Because
our original website was. So now we've hired someone to do something a little differently, and we're quite excited about what they've got going for us. So that's a really positive thing.
It's going to be a new look.
Yes.
And it's going to be compatible to phones. It's going to be compatible to tablets, to all multimedia, that kind of stuff, which is great. It will be something that we can keep up to date. So you're going to see a lot of video bumps and stuff like that go on there. And it will give us a focus. Right now, our biggest problem with getting the word out is that there are so many different avenues. Like, do we advertise the TV show? Do we advertise the YouTube? Do we advertise Amazon Prime? Do we advertise Scuttlebutt?
Yes. Well, we have a lot going on, and it's hard to pick and choose. But one of the really cool things on this new website will be our new store.
We're actually going to have two stores, okay?
That's true.
Here's the deal. I try to do these simple things, as guys, we're problem solvers, right? We're always out there solving all the problems. And the bigger problem we always had was shipping on our for our products and that. And we would charge $10 for a hoodie, and it would cost us $20 to $30 to ship it. And so that was a big problem. We were like losing money. Like seriously, by the time I drove the 10 miles over to the post office to mail stuff, we were losing money on it. So we're going to have a new website, like an intelligent website app right on our website. And it's going to be the same stuff we've carried. It's a limited run of stuff because, every time you have all that physical stock.
Like hoodies and such.
Yeah, but the physical stock costs a lot of money and to keep it and the shipping. But what it's going to have is when you put in your address, it's going to tell you the exact cost for shipping.
Yes.
So we'll probably lose some sales.
Gee, isn't this a great promo? Way to go.
Well, what else can I do? What else can I do?
Well, what else we can do is another avenue for our store sales, and that's called TeePublic.
Yeah.
And so that's going to have, it's going to be better for a lot of our U.S. viewers and people that want to be involved with our merchandise in the U.S. And also, it's got some unique products in that store that we are just not able to carry here.
It's a fulfillment house. So when the order comes in, they fulfill it. And so there's everything. There are T-shirts there. We're back into T-shirts. There's hoodies. There's mugs. There's stickers. There's
and masks for everyone who's excited about masks. I'm not.
COVID masks. I couldn't believe that. But they all have our logo on, and there's some funny stuff there too.
Oh,
there's T-shirts with Madagascar hot on them, and pizza money, and and bears are dicks.
Yeah. Now we have to be careful about that. That's part of the reason that we moved to locals, is so that we can talk about bears being dicks and not get censored.
So if this is up and going right now, and it's at www.tpublic, so T-E-E, public.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, .com /stores/trapping-inc-TV.
That's a mouthful.
Oh yeah, it is. It's not simple. Well,
No, but
you
also,
can get there from our new website.
I was just from the new website, but also on Trapping Inc. Facebook page, I believe there is a link to TeePublic as well. So if you're not a member of Trapping Inc. group, then please put your application in. We screen our applicants for membership because we over the last couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, I guess it is, we've had several. I would hesitate to call them aunties, but there's been a few people like that are obviously not looking for our site, but that's why we ask people to sign in. I guess.
Well, it's funny though. You bring that up. That brings up something just popped into my head. Was we put up a video, and it's not our video. It's somebody's security cam video, and I believe it's from Russia. But it looks like a Karelian bear dog. Okay, so it's a pretty substantial sized bear dog, and a wolf comes in. Well, the dog is at a disadvantage because it's on a chain for one thing. But the wolf, just a single wolf, it sneaks in and it's wagging its tail and everything, and the bear dog is wagging its tail, and the next thing the wolf gets a hold of it. He literally, and I'm not going to go too far into this, but literally tears most of the hide off of its head and everything before he manages to kill it. Then breaks the chain it's on pulling and drags it off. Well, the people that were mad at me, that called me names, that called into, that myself, my family, my ancestors should all be put in the grave for putting this up. And it's like, this is nature. What do you think a wolf does?
Well, not only is this nature, but it is a closed group. And, if you don't like to see nature and you don't like to know what happens out in the wild or with a wild animal, don't watch, I guess.
But that's just it. You see, I mean, it was an emotional thing because it's a dog, right?
Yes.
And we all love our dogs. God knows. We've got two big pets laying down here on the floor watching us, wondering what we're doing again. And so, I mean, I understand the emotion of it, but there is no emotion in the wild. And people don't understand that part, that there's no emotion out there. A wolf, his whole life is more regimented than your checkbook. You have so many dollars go in, so many dollars come out. That's the balance of your checkbook. Well, that's his balance in life, is so much energy goes out, so much energy comes in.
Yeah.
And the minute an animal quits trying to escape, he quits using those teeth to try and kill it and starts using them to eat.
Yeah.
And
well, you see evidence of it all the time. Every winter there are videos that surface of deer being eaten
alive,
and they're still alive.
Yeah.
And, nature is just one of those.
Well, but the part that a lot of people are having problems with now is how many of these people have security cameras,
yes.
Doorbell cameras and all that kind of stuff, and they're seeing the coyotes attack pets, they're seeing wolves attack pets. I mean, it's actually a kind of a golden moment for trappers. Well,
I'll remember many years ago now, but someone that we've known for a while, one of their children was taking a university course and was doing a paper on trappers, and trappers representing the what do you want?
Buffer or last line?
Buffer, I guess would be the word, between urban dwellers and what happens in nature and in the wild. So I think that the advent of a lot of these doorbell cameras and security cameras and so on, it is a view of what nature is all about. Just because we didn't see it before didn't mean it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Now it's just a in-your-face kind of moment. So.
Yeah, but I was surprised at people who were members of a private trapping group.
Trapping group.
Yeah, trapping group. You know, they were pretty upset about it. They were it took me by surprise.
Yeah, well, people do surprise us sometimes, but
yeah,
that is, one of the best parts of doing this work is that people do surprise you. Not often on the negative side, but sometimes, mostly on the positive side.
Yeah. Well, to talk about the T Public store, I'm amazed at the number of T-shirts we sell.
Yes.
Because in the north we all buy hoodies.
Well, I do. I'm always cold.
But there's folks down in the south that all want T-shirts.
Well, on our community, we've got a couple of folks from Alabama, and they've been recently bragging a lot about it being 80 degrees, and they're going to check their coyote traps in T-shirts. And I said we couldn't be friends anymore. I mean, all tongue in cheek, obviously, but we've had some brutal weather up here, and just even today on our way home from the cabin and checking things on the line, it was a bit of a.
It was a really pay attention kind of day because it was windy and blowing snow. And it was,
and not just a little bit of snow.
No, and it was one of those really, really gray days where everything's flat. There's no contrast, and it's like you really had to pay attention to see where the road was.
Yeah,
it was not a comfortable thing. And then of course you got a wind going, and you're pulling a big trailer, and
you're meeting traffic, and we met a plow, and
that was something. This is something I don't know how many of you folks will identify with, but here snowplows go whenever they need to plow. So. But invariably when it snows, you've got a wind. But it doesn't matter to the snowplow. So what happened today is we're going like this, and he's coming towards us, and the wind's coming like this. It's coming across. So everything that he puts into the air, the million tons of snow he puts in the air, gets blown right in front of the truck.
Yeah.
And literally, we were whiting out. We whited right out. And so I just started to wander a little bit to the right, because I don't want to wander out in case there's traffic right behind him that I can't see. But up here we have rumble strips when you get across the white line onto the shoulder. And so I'm feeling for a rumble strip, but I mean, and I can't stop either because you don't know that somebody's not right behind you, and they're as blind as you are. So it's one of those uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, one of those exciting trips home. Anyway, we all made it home in one piece and got lots done when we got here. And now here we sit, and we're going to tell everybody about what's been going on out there. So we've had a busy couple of months.
We are right into season 7. Like this is what we're filming right now is season 7.
Yes.
Do you want to tell them, you were the instigator on all of this, of the new feature that's going to be in season 7?
Well, I snuck a camera out, one of our old video cameras, still works, but now we're going to have a rumble here right beside me. I snuck a video camera out, and I just decided that I thought I could find a good spot to put a kitty pen.
Well, what happens is in December, usually there's enough snow I can go all the way down south, and I make over 100 and some kilometers on the loop, so I get out a snowmobile. She doesn't like getting on a snowmobile because it's cold.
I don't mind the snowmobile, but and we have 2 snowmobiles, but I can't keep up with them, and I get cold, and I don't like it. So I thought that this year, because we have had a pen and a box and, set up years ago, just not very far from the cabin. So
on the lake, right? On the lake.
Right, yeah, just off the lake. So I dug out my snowshoes, which I was using anyway back in December, and I decided I would just trek down the lake and see what I could see. So I found this just completely by accident. It was a kitty poop. There was kitty poop in the pen.
Well, I mean, you're most of alongside of on that side of the lake is all low willows. So when you have a clump of larger spruce, like larger evergreen, and that, it becomes a, it's a very obvious feature, and it attracts attention. Mostly because if you have evergreens too, you probably have a squirrel or two there, which a cat or a fisher or a martin or whatever is always going to go looking for food. And then when you walked in there was actually a little bit of a game trail.
Yeah, there was a game trail that I followed in, and I found what I thought would be a really good spot, just from all of the stuff that we've done over the years, and it was lots of the stuff that we set up isn't that far off of a trail. But anyway, this is a little ways off of the lake, but it turned out to be a perfect spot. And when I started kind of sweeping and housekeeping and, some of the things that help cats be attracted out of curiosity when things are different is sweeping a little bit of the snow away. Here was some cat poop right there. It was just so unusual. And it was sort of a meant to be kind of a thing, right?
From a pro tapper tip here. Oh. That's what we call a sign.
Wow. I'm getting educated. It's all good. Anyway, that was kind of fun. And then there's another clump of trees that's just a little bit closer, also with a lot of the same features, but we had hung a box there some years ago, and it was one of the original boxes because it's one of those really long ones, and it has a compartment. Yeah. It's a little easier for moi to bait it. So anyway, I hung a 160 in there.
You stole a little bit of bait and some lure?
Stealing. Such an ugly word. I found it in the shed. So anyway,
well, and it wasn't until I come back from one of my long hauls and I go to hang. I had a couple cats or to have just one cat with me.
I think you had one cat, and you were all excited because I think you had a martin and a fisher, I don't remember what all you had. I only remember what I had, and I had a nice little cat. It wasn't very old, and I'd caught it. This was back in January, obviously. So anyway, we it was warm, and it hadn't been dead very long. It was soft, and I just kind of flung it over my shoulders and walked back with it, hung it up on the outside of the cabin.
And she filmed all this, which is the funny part.
Well, I thought if I was going to do it, I might as well get it on film, even if it was rough or whatever. And you'll see some rough stuff in there for sure. But anyway, there was no retakes because I was exhausted by the time we were done.
I go to hang my cat up on the wall of the fur shed. There's a spare cat there. It's like, well, where'd that come from?
Oh, yeah. Where'd that come from? Well,
you'd managed to sneak that one all in on me. But then the next day, I had a very unusual situation happen. We're on a fairly good lake for where we're at. It's probably a mile wide and at 7-8 miles long, something like that.
It's shallow, but it's quite a large body of water, really, for up there.
I walk out from the cabin to go take a look. It's I don't know, noonish or something like that. We were leaving that day. Mm-hmm. So I walked down there for whatever reason. Halfway across the lake, here comes a lynx walking.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. In the middle of the day. And halfway across the lake.
And what was really unusual is that you don't usually go walk out there and just kind of look across the lake. But yeah,
so funny though, because I walk out there and it's like, there's a chair sitting out there. A chair? That's what he looked like. He looked exactly like a chair.
Of course, that's perfectly normal in the middle of nature to be a chair in the middle of the lake.
I go running back into the cabin. I grab the 22 Hornet. 22 Hornet's the one I've got out there. Yeah, grabbed the 22 Hornet and Bob's your uncle had it.
Yeah.
For all the years on that trap line, this is what, our eighth?
This is our eighth year, yeah.
Eighth year trapping on that trap line. That makes exactly one cat I've ever shot.
Yeah. It's very unusual. So it's been a year of unusual events, I guess, in many ways.
I had a kind of exciting there with the. Here's okay. I'm gonna look bad in this situation.
In this one situation,
I get way down over in the southwest, and something breaks on the snowmobile. I'm driving.
Yes, and that was a fun text to get. Hey, can you walk back out to the truck and drive down to where we park? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, what's happened? And then he goes radio silent, and so now I'm kind of freaking out.
Well, I'm in one of those places where you kind of got to climb a tree and then jump in the air and text while you're jumping and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm in a really bad spot for coverage. But it was the Skidoo Scandic that I had, and they have what's called a pogo stick suspension. And in these vertical towers of the suspension, there's these. They're just a ring with a hole in it that your tie rod goes into, right? And that's what makes your skis turn, locks into the sleeve of the ski and makes it turn. One of them breaks. I'm driving along and I go like this, and the snowmobile just keeps going like that into the trees, and I can't make it turn. And what's happened is this has broke. The ski has collapsed, and of course then there's no steering whatsoever. Actually, it was the other way. It went to the left on me, and so I tear everything apart. I send you a text. I managed to get enough courage to send you a text and say, can you go do that? But here's where I look really bad. 2 days before, when we parked there, I forgot to put the ramp back up on the trailer because it's just so easy when I come back out.
And we have a really heavy spring on it, and there's no way I can lift that thing. That
it gets covered in ice and snow, and it weighs hundreds of pounds more than it should because of being on the road. But anyway, so she's headed out there trying to figure out what to do, and I'd forgot all about the ramp being down and everything. I've got everything tore apart, and those silly Skidoos. There's like 52 pieces that you got to. Is origami or Jenga or whatever that comes apart to look under that hood. So I figure out what's broke, and there's nothing I can do about it there. So I have some 3-foot rebar or 4-foot 40-inch rebar, whatever, that I use. I'll drive into the ground, and I'll just hang a link snare off it, right? Mm-hmm. So I take and get that up on the front across the skis. I get it braced. I get it wired into place. Oh. I turn and, that works good. That works good. But the problem is those skis they're not a flat turn. They also rotate on an angle. Uh-huh. So I only got about 3 degrees of turn. So I unhook the top, skimmer out back, and I do a 47-point turnaround to get turned around. And it was about 12 kilometers back to the nearest road.
Yeah.
And once I got there, then I had all these messages from you. And I was like, because I could finally get a clear shot at the tower there, and I said, no, everything's good, I said, don't worry about it. I'm doing okay right now. I'll just keep coming, and I think I had about 30 kilometers to go, something like that. But I'm on the road, and so I'm just going along, and you know how your mind wanders, and you're doing 30 kilometers, you're doing 20 kilometers an hour, and you speed it up. But about 25, it starts getting a death wobble. like a serious death wobble back and forth. And it's like, whoa. And everything's good. I make it, and literally, I got to turn this corner off of the main road onto a well site road down where we unload. And from there, it's like 2 kilometers to where we unload. I turn this corner, and I guess I don't know whether it's from my death wobbling or pushing a little hard or whatever. As I turn that corner, and I am honest to God not doing 10 kilometers an hour. I mean, I am 6 miles an hour. I'm just slow, and that collapses again. My repair, the wire that I tightened on there breaks. It collapses. That ski folds back like that. This snowmobile is doing 10 kilometers an hour, and then it's on top of it is right upside down. I bail off. I bail off, and I'm really good at the launch. I'm not so good at sticking the landing. I landed hard on my butt. But I have a picture of this. You have never seen a snowmobile bounced on top of it. The box on the back and the handlebars so perfectly. It looks like a dog laying there wanting its belly to be scratched.
Yeah. Homie's tractor.
Yeah, exactly. So I jump up, and I mean, it's 645 pounds dry, and it's right upside down, and it's over on the ditch, over the curve of the road on the ditch, and of course you got a big snowplow ridge there, so it's wedged into there, right? Well, I got to get it back up
Good
over,
times.
and I know that she's just a couple kilometers away, and I text her and say, everything's good, just got to make a couple adjustments. And, and then I jump over there and go to flip it back over. Well, I think I hurt myself more doing that because, I mean, it's 600 and some pounds. But I'm so worried that you're going to come around the corner and find me laid out on the road in the snowmobile upside down. I'm going to die at that point.
Might freak out. You never know. Anyway. Yeah, that happened back in January, I guess.
That was in January, yeah.
It was, and thank goodness it was fairly mild weather too, right? So.
Oh, we got it fixed, and it's the way it goes. I mean, that stuff. I'm told the part that I broke is very common to break on them.
But it's never broken before.
No, and it's got 14,000 kilometers on it. So
yeah.
I had them replace the other part, the one on the other side that was identical, because it was taking all the strain off, even the rollover.
We've had an interesting year of catches, though. I mean, the lynx have been pretty good. We didn't get started with lynx until late, though.
Very late. And
I think it was only about a week or so before Christmas, and our season starts on December 1st. So we didn't get as many lynx this year as we have in the past.
We ended up with 17. One of them got ate by coyotes.
Yeah. I picked up 2.
Yeah, I know you got 2 of them. It was all about the snares this year.
Yeah.
It was all about the snares, and it was all about the kitty cream, the kitty gut cream.
Yeah.
Only two came in the bait stations.
Every year is a little bit different, and whatever it is that turns them on one way or the other, you never know. So that's why you have to have both.
I think I figured this out.
Oh.
I think I figured this out because I think I was kind of stupid. No, I'm being honest here. I'm bearing my soul.
Okay.
Well, we're always in such a rush, right? And so I would, when I go in and I close up my snare pen, I just hang the snare there and everything's all ready. And I would leave that bait stick, and then we would laugh about it the next October or whenever the first snow would happen, because the kitties would go into the pens and they would chew on those bait sticks and they would rub on them and that kind of stuff. And as the years went on, I was getting less response to my bait, my lure. And I just got thinking about it last year when I folded it all up, and I thought, if this is attracting them when we can still see sign in the snow in October and November, then they're coming to it all year. And this is a curiosity lure.
Yeah.
So you don't want that cat to not be curious about it, when he does smell it. So I pulled them all out last year, and this year it was red hot again.
Yeah.
It got.
Well, and that, and my kitty poop pen, as we've begun to call it, of course, there was nothing there either. So that's why we caught those 2 there. So,
but it took 15 of the 17 cats on on that lure. So.
Absolutely. And you caught a really big fisher this year.
Biggest one ever that I've ever caught.
Yeah.
A little over 16 pounds, 2 ounces.
Wow.
And that's huge. But it was year for big fisher.
Yeah.
And
we caught them quick this year. Like when the season started in November, we had quite a run on fisher.
And we had like big, 3 big adult males within a mile.
Yeah.
There's three pens, and there's like at 0 and half mile and 1 mile. And, like this one caught a big one right at the beginning of the season. Then this one, and then this one, yeah. So, and they were all adults, and it was all very close together. So it was pretty interesting to have the big males back again, because, the last couple of years has been a lot of females.
Yes.
Yeah. And this year it was back to the males. I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know either, but we didn't get as many marten this year either. Like, we got lots of fisher, but not as many marten.
No, but then we did have, we had something in a trap. We had a cat that started shopping on the line.
Yes.
Over in the Southwest. And you don't mind when you go up there and you see when they've ate a squirrel out of your trap. That doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
That's nothing. but they get in the habit of shopping. And so this one, he shopped and he got a squirrel out of that first box, right?
Yeah.
And he would go back to it all the time. And then he later in the year, we had something in that one box on that old rotted, that big old stump down over in that dip there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but it was just a misfortune that he pulled on it long enough and he pulled the nail right out of that tree and he took off with the trap. So he got the trap and the...
And whatever was in it.
Yeah. And I followed him in the snow and that as much as I could, but he never stopped with it. Never had a cat pack anything ever before.
Yeah. That's unusual.
That was really weird.
But there wasn't any other tracks near there.
No.
You know, it wasn't like it was a coyote or a wolf or something.
So then he came back in January and he ate a marten. And he ate a marten on one of the boxes. So I took what was left of the marten and I built a pen and I put in, of course, my lure and that. But down, like literally right across the trail from where he'd stolen the trap and everything, I built this pen. And the very last cat that I picked up was in that pen, and it was a big cat. It's a big, and that had been a big track. So that was pretty cool. It was so cold though.
Oh yeah.
It was 40 below. He was frozen, and you'd move him, and it would sound like rubbing wood together when like him and the snow and that, just because it's so cold. If you've never been out in that kind of cold, you can't begin to understand that.
We try and avoid it to be out in that kind of cold, but every now and then you get caught, kind of like we did on the weekend. It was supposed to be minus 20. We got up and it was minus 30. Well, surprise.
Yeah,
things don't start really good at minus 30, and things break at minus 30, and you just
minus 40.
One of the things that we avoid doing, and that happened to us. There was a few weekends in February where we didn't get out because of the cold weather.
Yeah, and the septic was frozen.
Well, yeah. all the joys of living in the country. Yeah. On top of all of that, but and then the wind, and you've certainly encountered that. I mean, you got a new case or whatever for the chainsaw.
Well, usually
it was good.
I usually pack a little tiny chainsaw on the snowmobile because at that point we've done all of our trails with the Argo and we've cleaned everything up. Yeah. But then we get all this big wind afterwards, and so now I've got this little tiny chainsaw with a 14 or 16-inch bar on it, and it's not made for that stuff. And you got to cut it from both sides on some of those trees. That's how big they are. There was a lot of work, and I was out one night checking, and the trees were falling all around me, and it was like, oh, this is creepy, man.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not sure what that little note was about.
I don't know. You wrote it. It's in your handwriting.
I did. Yeah, I did. I thought maybe it might have jogged your memory.
No, not at all.
Okay.
But I see here, I want to talk about the new videos that we've got going up.
Yes, very exciting stuff.
We've, as we've said before, we're pulling back from YouTube. And we've had more go-arounds with them. We've had more appeals. I don't know whether somebody is dropping a dime on us consistently or what's going on, but
I'm sure it's all the fact checkers out there.
Yeah. We've so all I'm putting up on YouTube in most cases is I'll put up a promotional clip out of one of my of the videos I'm building, and we did some really neat videos, like a video on how snares work.
Yes.
And when I talk about how a snare works, here in Canada, our snares are all lethal. And so it shows how a snare kills. It compresses the carotid arteries.
Yeah, a lot of people think that it chokes an animal.
Or it suffocates them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It is no different than MMA. Like UFC, the fighters. Yeah, well, they do sleeper holds.
Yes,
yeah,
they do.
And that's what they're doing is they're compressing those carotids and they're graying out and going down. So we've got a whole bunch more videos that are going up on. Hey, Rich here. Sandi and I are pleased at the rapid growth of our exclusive community, Trapping Inc. at locals.com. We created the community to connect more closely with our fans, friends, and supporters without the interference and censorship of social media companies. Because this community is subscriber exclusive, there is no censored photos, shadow banning, and deplatforming as happens on Twitter and Facebook. Trolls are non-existent, as not a one will spend a nickel and put their money where their mouth is to protest on a paid site. You know it. We are steadily moving all Trapping Inc. YouTube videos and podcasts as quickly as time and bandwidth allow. We're tickled and surprised to see how large of library we must move. As well, we are sharing articles on trapping and guns and shooting. Our new TV series, Married to the Hunt, videos are here too. Hours and hours of never before released to the internet hunting and fishing from around the world. TrappingInc.locals.com will be the exclusive home of all Trapping Inc. content from the past and into the future. What else is there to do? Well, there's a forum for everyone to post pictures on and interact. You can message us directly on TrappingInc.locals.com, as well as interact with all the other subscribers. These are all people with common interests. Get in here. This whole venture is about taking the Trapping Inc. TV community to the next level, building a community of shared interest and interacting with all of our friends. Who knows where we can go from here? Just go to locals.com and sign up for a free account. Then search for Trapping Inc. and subscribe for $5 a month. That's it. Go to locals.com to open a free account and then subscribe for $5 a month to Trapping Inc. Help us spread the truth about a way of life and the responsible, ethical management of the wild resources. TrappingInc.locals.com. Now back to the show. That's where it's all going now. We've got we're putting up our Married to the Hunt.
Yes.
Oh, hey, that's a big deal too, isn't it? I forgot about that.
Well, it is a big deal, and I don't think that we found out how big a deal it was until about January, right?
Well, we get
in Canada.
In Canada, we get Nielsen ratings, and so we got Nielsen ratings in November.
Yes.
In November, we were number 1 and number 2. And between Trapping Inc. and Married to the Hunt, there was like 483,000 people watched us in that month.
Yeah.
No, that's the month of October, pardon me. Because that was the first month that Married to the Hunt had ever aired.
Yeah, and it bumped Trapping Inc. out of first place.
First time Trapping Inc. had been bumped out of first place in 3 years.
Oh, we should be clear, though, that the Nielsen numbers are on Wild TV only.
Well, yeah,
in
only
Canada.
on
Yeah.
Anybody there's no other outdoor channel that has
Right.
Nielsen numbers, so they can claim whatever. They don't have to prove it. I have a document to prove it. But
Yeah.
and then the next month in November, that number rocketed to 687,000 or 683,000.
Yeah.
You know,
lots of people trapped in their houses in November, I guess. So it was good time to watch Trapping Inc. and Married to the Hunt.
Yeah, we've been hugely popular. The numbers are there. We're still top of the game.
And we do need to talk a little bit more about locals too, because I think a lot of people in our podcast universe maybe haven't found us yet on locals, and to know what it is.
Yeah.
So it is a subscription service that gives you access to all kinds of articles, videos, cutting room floor videos.
That's a new feature we brought up. So it's stuff that we have left over from other years, videos and that didn't get used. Now we're putting them up there.
And a lot of, the work that Rich has been doing with, the how-tos on snaring and a few other things, a few other interesting tidbits.
A really cool tip. When I turn my fur and how I turn it.
Yeah.
It's just those, it's like we talk so much about the muscle memory thing.
Mm-hmm.
My hands do those springs all the time without even thinking about it. I'm not paying any attention to what they're doing. And I had an automated function on a tool, and it used to be manual. And when it was manual, my hand did it with just by feel and by sound, the combination of that. But when it was automated, then I had to pay attention to what was going on. So I got rid of it. It's back to manual. But the same thing. So I have for forever, the way when I've turned my fur.
Yeah.
And because people ask, and I say, well, it's dry. Well, that's not really what they're looking for. So
yeah.
I slowed it down and showed that, and then I have the silliest tool you've ever seen. You wait till you watch the video and see it, but it works so well.
Yeah.
For everything from fisher to lynx and bobcat to wolves, coyotes, it's fantastic. But that video is up there. The pull trigger for our weasel.
Yes,
boxes.
we had lots and lots of interest in that. So that's an interesting little tidbit piece there. And I don't know. I mean, it seems that everything you get now, whether it's Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, whatever, is climbing. Oh, and Spotify. Now, you can't get a lot of different podcasts unless you subscribe to Spotify. So, ours is pretty reasonable at $5 a month, and you get lots of access to a lot of different content that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Yeah, well, it's not going up on YouTube anymore.
No,
I mean they're going to shut me down. I know that's going to happen. But just to put it into perspective,
yeah,
$5 a month is $60 a year, and a minute of edited video costs me $150.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to put it, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about what edited video costs me or anything. I'm just trying to put it in perspective.
Yeah, and I think it's important but it isn't just the video either. There's lots of really cool things and some unique things that happen that we film that we just don't put out into the YouTube universe anymore because we've been dealing a lot with censors. And then comes then you have to appeal, and then you have to appeal again in some cases. And it just is an ongoing thing. So that takes up a lot of time that we could be doing other things.
Locals.com is advertiser free.
Yes.
Like we're not pushing ads in front of you. And I want to tell you something. That's how YouTube works, is that you get a millionth of a percentile off of a penny or whatever for an hour of YouTube or whatever. It's really, really little of what you end up getting. But they will demonetize one of my videos. Have a grandchild in it?
Yeah.
Gone. And they demonetize it. They still run videos.
Run advertising.
Run advertising. Pardon me. Yeah, video ads. You have to watch it, and they get the money from it, but they punish me
by demonetizing
by
the
not
segment.
giving me any.
So anyway, this is Locals has become quite popular with a lot of different organizations out there, I guess you would probably say, and I guess from our perspective, we are just trying to appeal to our base, and that's where people will find us. There.
Yeah, come support us. It'll only get bigger and better.
Every week you've got several things going up.
Hey folks, Rich from Trapping Inc. TV here, and we all have our idea of the perfect morning. You know what I'm talking about. For me, the perfect morning starts with the aroma and flavor of freshly brewed Old Smokes coffee. Studies have shown that just the smell of fresh coffee can boost brain activity. No kidding. Well, that's certainly no secret to me. I can barely talk before that first cup. Just ask Sandi. I'm a dark roast man, and Old Smokes Coffee's darkest roast, Stout Maple, is what gets my day in gear. Extra dark, it's strong, aromatic, and smooth. Gets me revved up for whatever the day throws at me. Old Smokes roast their coffee over wood fires, the old-fashioned way. Wood roasting takes more time, much longer than modern hot air roasting. Slow roasting over wood takes the bitter out of the bean and imparts a heavenly taste and aroma from the wood smoke. Old Smokes makes a roast perfect for each person. There are 5 roasts, from light to extra dark, each roasted over a different wood for a unique flavor. Did you know the darker the roast, the lower the caffeine content? It's true. Caffeine is a volatile oil that evaporates with roasting. The lightest roast has the most caffeine, and the darkest roasts have the most flavor. Right now, you can order from their online store and use our promo code RICH. That's RICH. And get 10% off your entire order. Pretty simple. Just go to www.oldsmokescoffee.com. That's OLE smokescoffee.com and use the promo code RICH. That is promo code RICH for 10% off your entire order. And now let's get to today's show. Yeah. Oh, and I mean the articles that nobody else has ever seen, you know.
Yes.
And there's just so much stuff that like the cutting room floor and some of that stuff from 2014 to 2015. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we've got some really interesting stuff up there, and it's just a little glimpse of our life on the trap line and what goes on at the cabin sometimes, and we spend a lot of time up there during the year, even when we're not trapping season, because there's always something to do. Plus, we really love being out there, so
you're
good.
so relaxed out there.
Yeah. And then you wanted to show a little bit about this.
Oh, well, here's another.
Snare.
Yeah, the visual.
Yeah.
The visual part here.
Yeah. For those of you that are just simply listening, you'll have to look at it in a different way.
I have this video, and this one I did put up in entirety on YouTube. And it is a new snare for coyotes, and it's called Lights Out Snaring. And what he's done is he's taken all of the components that were always in snares, and he's put it all into a system. That's part of the thing that I like so much about the, I'm a big fan of the RAM, because the RAM is one system, and it's just a matter of, you hardly even have to slow down walking beside of a trail to set a RAM. Well, what he's done here is he's taken and taken the snare, and it's a lot like what I did with my Lynx snare, is that it is a predetermined size, okay? And then he has this really neat way of mounting it. This is just number 9 wire that he runs through a die, and you just take it threaded on, just like that. You can see, and it goes through that coil, that corkscrew coil. And you see how well it becomes supported. It has a gigantic spring. This spring stretches out to 4 inches worth of spread and 75 pounds worth of pressure. He's got a unique, both the cable on it is anodized, okay? Black anodized. Now, whether color is important to you or not, I don't think it is important, but the fact that it's anodized and anodization is put on it's through electrolysis. It's they put it on with electricity and a chemical, but that means that there's no oil on it. There's no reason to have to boil them, and they're black. They have a finish. The spring the trigger on his spring is actually mounted from one arm and triggers off the other side, so it's not mounted on a cable. Gives you a very positive 26.5 pounds worth of let off. The lock is cool. It's a Kiefer lock, and it goes down. Okay, I'll get rid of this. There's my support. There's everything else. Here is a fired off spring, and this literally I cut off the coyote, and you could see that this spring went here, so it was actually not all the way even extended, because what happens is when they pull down, and all of our snares in Canada are lethal. Okay, so this is lethal. So what happens is when they pull down, you can see that what happens here is the Kiefer lock itself goes down so far, and then it puts a kink in the cable. So now that's a stop. That is a dead stop lock. It can't be loosened off. And they pull a little bit harder, produce that 26.5 pounds worth of pressure. This fires off on the other side, and look at how far that this got compressed down. A coyote's neck was in there, okay? It was compressed down. I think across here it's like 1.5 inches, and the other way is 2.25 inches. So, I mean, that is really good for doing, occluding those veins that we were talking about in the other
conversation
here. The video that I made, it showed the occlusion and that kind of stuff. Really cool system. I've been running it on one of my coyote baits. I got power rams on the other coyote bait. It's been working. I've got some. He's got some wolf ones out, and I've got them out too on the trap line. But do you think my wolves could find my bait? No.
That's just the way it happens. There's a couple of groups of wolves that come around a couple of times a year, but you can't set a watch by them, and you cannot set a trail by them. They just do whatever they want.
Oh, this year they were right in the middle of the Tamarack muskeg, in the dead center of the trap line, where I've never seen them in 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So packs come, packs go. You never know what happens and why they make the choices they do.
I think we should wrap this up, but I really want to encourage you folks to check out. Hey, Rich here. Sandy and I are pleased at the rapid growth of our exclusive community trappinginc@locals.com. We created the community to connect more closely with our fans, friends, and supporters without the interference and censorship of social media companies. Because this community is subscriber exclusive, there is no censored photos, shadow banning, and deplatforming as happens on Twitter and Facebook. Trolls are non-existent, as not a one will spend a nickel and put their money where their mouth is to protest on a paid site. You know it. We are steadily moving all Trapping Inc. YouTube videos and podcasts as quickly as time and bandwidth allow. We're tickled and surprised to see how large of library we must move. As well, we are sharing articles on trapping and guns and shooting. Our new TV series, Married to the Hunt, videos are here too. Hours and hours of never before released to the internet hunting and fishing from around the world. Trappinginc.locals.com will be the exclusive home of all Trapping Inc. content from the past and into the future. What else is there to do? Well, there's a forum for everyone to post pictures on and interact. You can message us directly on trappinginc.locals.com, as well as interact with all the other subscribers. These are all people with common interests. Get in here. This whole venture is about taking the Trapping Inc. TV community to the next level, building a community of shared interest and interacting with all of our friends. Who knows where we can go from here? Just go to locals.com and sign up for a free account. Then search for Trapping Inc. and subscribe for $5 a month. That's it. Go to locals.com to open a free account and then subscribe for $5 a month to Trapping Inc. Help us spread the truth about a way of life and the responsible, ethical management of the wild resources. trappinginc.locals.com. Now back to the show.
Joe, the best way to find us is https :// and then trappinginc.locals.com.
Exactly.
And again, on our Trapping Inc. Facebook page, you'll find a link there.
Or off of trappinginc.com. Our website, yeah. And that's going to be big. But check it out. Whole bunch more videos up there. Nice community we've got going. Lots of people to talk to. Some of the people there, I mean, they trap hogs. That's cool.
Yeah.
Two of them are in Alabama right now. I think they're trapping in T-shirts.
Yeah, I know. They told us that. I said we couldn't be friends. And there's a lot more women that are joining the group, which is really, really cool to see. So we really encourage families and couples and whoever wants to be there, they'll be there because we always get something out of having you there.
I hope you've enjoyed us blathering on here about what's been going on last month or so. And maybe we can do this a little sooner. Again.
Yeah, we maybe won't wait 2 months.
You take care. We'll see you down the line.